Oh, hi everybody, and welcome back to In the Kitchen.
I'm a mother of four. It's really busy and time is tight. I was able to return to college because of the Community College Opportunity Grant, a free tuition grant. Hudson County Community College changed my life.
The college community made me feel like a person, not just a number. The Community College Opportunity Grant covers additional costs while keeping me debt-free. I'm building a new future at Hudson County Community College.
Wow, today I got a good show for you. Let me tell you, it is really good. First, I want to thank everybody who tuned in and watched Gail Marquise. She was celebrated for Women's History Month. She is an Olympian for women's basketball. Yes, and silver medalist. It was a great show, and it's running all week, actually for 2 weekends. And also, on this show is going to be her wife. Yes, Gail's wife, which is Audrey Smaltz. Audrey is an icon in the fashion industry. She is very big. She was a model and still can go out there and model if she wants because the life never stops. So on this show, I'm going to sit down and talk with Audrey. And her personality is up here. Really, really a wonderful person. Both of them are, okay? So today's show, I am making curry chicken. That's right, curry chicken. And I made some last week and it was real good. And I said, I have to make some for the show. You know what I'm talking about? Yes, my neighbor next door, Angela, she refreshed me because I went to Hudson Community College for culinary arts. And for my externship, I was taught on Franklin Street here in Jersey City Heights at a place called Caribbean Flavor. Dave, and he was the chef there, and his sons in there, and they taught me how to make curry chicken. So it's been a minute. I was here about 3 years, up until last week that I have made it. And I'm so excited. I want to share this wonderful, wonderful, wonderful recipe for you. And then while the chicken is cooking, then I'm going to take you and let you watch this interview that I did on Audrey Smaltz. Okay, let's get started. First, I have to have my wine. Who can do a show without having a little sip of wine? Yes. Have to have my little wine. Wonderful. Domaine Del Riviere. You know who I'm talking about. Now, I have my turmeric. I have a little pepper, Marcella, and I have my curry, okay? Angela told me of a store in Jersey City. It's right outside of the Heights. It's a Jamaican store, okay? I tried making curry chicken once before, and I went to the local supermarket, Stop and Shop. I can mention their name because they are one of my sponsors, and I bought some curry there. And it wasn't the same. So she sent me to this other place and to pick up some real good, authentic curry, Marcella, and the turmeric that comes from the islands. This is the ingredients that you need to use. Yes, there are hundreds, I would suppose, different types of curry and all the rest of the ingredients, but she told me to use this. I went to her house and I watched her. It was delicious. So I said, let me do it and bring it on the show. I'm gonna try it. I'm sure it'll come out good and it's gonna be easy to make. Okay, the first thing that I have is my curry, okay? I'm going to put about that amount because I'm not making a lot. The cameraman does not like curry. Would you believe someone doesn't like curry? I'm sure there's lots of people. Okay, Oh, I can smell it. Oh, it's so good. Now I'm going to use just a little of the Marcella and a little less of the turmeric, or turmeric as some people call it. Now, this is how I remembered her recipe, because she didn't say, put a half a teaspoon or a teaspoon. I noticed that she had more curry, and then the Marcella was a little less, and then the turmeric was a little less. And I remember it by watching it. My pot, I'm getting it nice and hot. My fabulous pot. I just love this pot. It is so good. From a company called Staub, and my sponsor is Charles Department Store. That's Charles, D-E-P-T, Charles Department. So instead of typing out the full name, it's Charles, D-E-P-T, store.com. You'll see it pop up in a couple of minutes. This is a really good pot. It has 7 layers. It's not one of those pots that is real thin, and then you put food in it, and what happens? It starts to burn. This is really good. So I had it on my handy little burner getting hot, keeping it nice and warm. I'm gonna add, excuse me, a little olive oil and let that get hot. Now remember, going forward, if you're cooking, get your pan hot, especially if you're gonna use oil you're frying, whether it's a regular pan, whether it's a cast iron. Remember, get the pan hot first, then add the oil. Why? Because if you put the oil in there and the oil isn't the type of oil that has a high heat, can stand a lot of heat, then it's gonna burn, and then you're gonna mess up your dish. So as I did here, I got the pot, I got a pot hot, and this is gonna work. So here's my mixture here. And I'm gonna do as Angela did, and also Dave, he taught me. I'll tell you a little story. When I was learning in his kitchen at Caribbean Flavor, he had me started, fixing the food by myself. So I got the pan really hot, and then when I went to add something, a wet ingredient to it, and those flames, in the kitchen, the flames are like this. Well, whatever I did, I put it in, and let me tell you, the flame went up like this in front of me. I didn't jump, I didn't panic, but Tara, his wife, said, "Now you are a real chef." I guess because the flames was coming up. I was like, okay, Tara, okay, thanks anyway. All right, so like I said, put a little oil in here. Put a little pinch more. I think this is a good tablespoonful. Like that. Really good, really good. And now I have my mixture. I'm gonna take this and add to the pot. I don't wanna knock this over. And then we really have a mess. Then I have to start the show all over again. That would be a mess. Yeah. I'm gonna add this to it. And I do this and she does this. Oop, it's kind of high. Just to bring the aroma out from it. I think I need just a pinch more of oil. I'm using olive oil. Oh yeah. There we go. Oh, I can smell it. Oh, wish they had smell-o-vision or something like that. Then you can really smell it, and you see the steam, that's the vapor, the water, or whatever coming out of it. So we got this going. I don't want this to be too high. I don't want to burn it. Okay, we did that. Next, I have a potato and I have an onion that I'm gonna add to that, and I add that in a couple of minutes, okay? But right now, I'm gonna put some chicken in. Now you could use chicken breast, just cut it up in nice lump-sized pieces. Um, yeah, because Angela, she used the thigh and she used the breast. Okay, I'm using drumsticks, and I hope this doesn't turn my alarm on, because that would be a mess. Yeah. Turn it down a little, because that smoke alarm is gonna go off. Then we're gonna have to take you on a break. I'm sure it happens to you too. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's dying down a little now. Oh, this smells so good. Okay, what I want to do is just turn this in the pot. Oh, you hear that? Sizzle? That's what you want. Woo! Oh, it's so good. Yeah, let's do this. Now, there are all different types of ways that people make curry chicken. Okay, there's all different type of ways. As long as it tastes good, that's what I'm talking about. I got 2 more legs. Oops. I'm gonna put in here. Ooh, can you? I hope you can see this. Look at the color on that. I know your mouths are watering. Said, Rene, I'm coming by your house. I want some curry chicken, or you can have curry goat, curry shrimp. I saw on television the other day someone made some curry rice. Some curry rice. Oh yeah. Turn this up a little now. And I'll let that do its thing for a couple of minutes. And our rice today is going to be jasmine. That's the type of rice that she used. Let me bring this up. Okay, so I'm going to let this do its thing for a few minutes, and I'm going to let you see the interview that I did with whom? Audrey Smaltz. Smaltz, yes, with a Z on the end, not Smalls. Smaltz with a Z on the end. Okay, so cover this. A fabulous pot. I love this pot. And we'll come back and finish our curry chicken, okay, with jasmine rice. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of In the Kitchen. I am so happy today. I have a young lady. Her name is Audrey Smaltz. I interviewed her lovely wife in a previous episode of the show. Her name is Gail Marquise. She is an Olympian champion. And today I am going to be speaking with the lovely Audrey Smaltz. Audrey is a former commentator for the Ebony Fashion Fair, and she is the founder of the Ground Crew, and which we will go into a little bit later. Audrey, hi.
Hi, Rene, Chef Rene.
Oh,
hi.
thank you. You can call me Rene.
Okay.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. It's a beautiful day. Sun is shining. I'm loving it.
Yes. As I met
and it's the
Gail,
first day of spring, I believe.
But excuse me?
I think it's the first day of spring.
It is.
Yeah.
And the sun is out right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, I met Audrey the same time I met Gail at Curvin Blue's house. She was having a dinner party, and I told you before that I knew there was something about this couple, but I couldn't put my hand on it. What was the draw? And then later on, I found out who these people are. Gail being who is an Olympian champion, and Audrey, who is, like I mentioned before, who is a former commentator for Ebony Fashion Fair and founder of the Ground Crew. So there was something. Audrey, thank you so much. Your personality is just out there. I just love it. Tell
Thank
us a little.
you.
Tell us a little bit about how you came about into fashion. I understand that you were a model, correct?
Oh, yes, I started modeling at 15 years old. I went to the Ophelia DeVore School of Charm in Harlem
In
because I'm
Harlem,
a
yes.
Harlem native, you know.
I am too.
Oh, good for you.
148th Street between Amsterdam and Broadway.
Oh, so that was like up on the hill.
Up on the hill. Pork
I
chop
lived in the valley at
Oh.
2651 7th Avenue at 153rd Street in the Harlem River houses. That's where I was
Oh,
born.
yeah. So how did all of this begin with you?
Well, I wanted to go to charm school because two of my friends were going to charm school, and it was $50 for 8 lessons. That's 8 weeks. And my mother said, that's a lot of money. But then I found out you could pay $10 down and $5 a week. So my mother said she could handle that.
Yeah.
And I went to the Ophelia DeVore School of Charm on 125th Street between 8th Avenue and 7th Avenue, which is now Adam Clayton Powell Jr.
That's
Boulevard.
that's near the Teresa Hotel, correct?
It's near the Teresa, on the same side as the Apollo Theater.
Okay, yeah.
The same side, closer to 8th Avenue.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I went there, and Ophelia DeVore also had a model agency called the Grace Del Marco Model Agency. So when you graduated from the charm school, if you made the grade, then you could become a Grace Del Marco model, which I did. And my very first assignment, I was a say hey, quote, say hey kid for Willie Mays, number 24, a center fielder for the New York Giants.
What?
And we were say hey kids, and we made the cover of a magazine. I can't think of the name of the magazine. It wasn't Time magazine, but it was a True magazine, I think the name was.
And you say hey?
Because that's what Willie said. When he spoke to you, he would say hey.
Oh.
That was his way of greeting everybody. Say hey.
Okay. Now I got it. Say hey. All right.
So that's why we were his say hey kids. There was 6 of us. Our first assignment, we got $25 a day. And trust me, in 1954,
that was
big bucks if you were living at home.
Yes. Mama said, bring it home. We're going to go buy some food.
And so I started modeling, and then Ophelia used to give fashion shows, and she was the commentator. And one day I said, Miss DeVore, I can do what you do. She said, fine, sit here and do it with me. And that's how I got started doing commentary, because I found out then models were getting maybe $10 a fashion show, sometimes 15. Commentators were getting $25 to $50 a show. So I decided I was going to become a commentator.
And you would think, I would think it would be the opposite, that the model would get more money and the commentator would get less. You know what I'm saying?
The commentator was always on. A model only came out 2 or 3 times, maybe 1 time.
Yeah.
The commentator had to be there for the entire show, which took anywhere from a half hour to an hour. So of course you should get paid more.
Okay, I see. I'm not in that industry.
All
right.
But then I did something unusual.
What is that?
And when I first started, the models would have their own little commentary cards, and they would come out with their outfit on, come over to the table where you were, give you the card, and then you would read from the card. Well, some of the girls would give me the wrong card. And they would have on a green dress, and the card would say something red. And so that's how I got started doing commentary in an unusual way. Just call it as I see it. Don't look at the card, because you may not always get the right card.
Yeah.
So then I just started doing commentary. I would just say things off the cuff, and I knew the model's name, so that was easy.
So that was fun to be over there.
I loved it.
Over there introducing, and the model, oh, here comes Shanae or whatever the person's name.
Yes.
That must have been really exciting, huh?
Very exciting. But I would say things not very risque or double entendres, as they would. a young lady would have on a liquid fluid dress in Jersey, and the dress would be clinging to her entire body, gorgeous. And I wouldn't say anything. I just let her walk, and the people would just, oh my God, is she gorgeous? I know what they was on their mind. And I would say, and what do you suppose she's wearing underneath that dress?
Oh, yeah.
And I pause, and I would say, Hanes pantyhose. Then I would say the fabric, and I would say the model, the designer's name.
Oh,
I
wow.
had fun, you know.
It seems like a lot of fun.
Oh, for me, it was lots of fun.
Uh-huh.
And the models with the Ebony Fashion Fair, when I got to do the Ebony Fashion Fair in 1970, I did the show from 1970 to 1977.
Now, did you get that? Now, you're going into the part where you were modeling, correct?
Oh, modeling. Oh, yes, I modeled for Ebony Magazine, Sepia, Pittsburgh Courier.
Now, did the commentator, was that helpful for you to get in as a model, or were you modeling previous to being the commentator?
Oh, yeah, I modeled before I became the commentator. I just told Ophelia DeVore, who was always the commentator for the shows that I did, I told her, I can do what you're doing. I just went up to her and told her I wanted to do that.
You wanted
she
to
said,
do
fine. She said, sit down and do it with me.
Okay. We're looking at some of your pictures right now.
Yeah.
So that's good. So, yeah, continue. I'm sorry to interrupt.
That's all right. So the Ebony Fashion Fair started in 1958, and Frida de Knight started it, and I wanted to be in that show in 1958 because they hired two of my girlfriends, Carol Brantley and Elaine Calloway. Well, they told me I was too tall. I was, I'm 72 long. That's 6 feet, by the way.
Well, how tall are you? I've been
72
around.
long.
72 long, that's 6 feet considered?
And the girls in those days were 5'6", 5'7", maybe 5'8".
Oh.
So they couldn't get clothes to fit me at that time. It had to be made to order, but it was the very first show. Yeah. And so I couldn't be a model. Oh, I was
and
so
that's
upset.
Strange because now today all the models are tall.
Yeah, well, everybody's much taller today than they were 50, 60 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, just taller and bigger too. I can add that. Oh, I'm bigger, much bigger. Anyway, in 1970, I was living in Chicago, and a friend of mine named LaDoris Foster was John Johnson's secretary. And he was a friend of mine, and I was going through a divorce. I was married, going through a divorce, and the judge told me I needed to get a job. So I called Doris and I said, Doris, please set up an appointment so I can meet Eunice Johnson, because I could be the commentator when the regular commentator is sick or she can't make it or whatever.
Yeah.
And I went for the interview. And the same day that they were interviewing me as the commentator, they were also looking for new models. And so the models were in the room, the big library. They were looking at the various models. And then Mr. Johnson said to me, Audrey, will commentate. Tell me what he has on. And I went on to say that, he had on a double-breasted jacket with peak lapels and the bees and pockets with 2 slits in the back.
Okay.
And it was a Glen plaid. And Mr. Johnson said,
wow.
Whoa. I told him some things he didn't know about, and the way I describe it. So they hired me right on the spot.
What?
But I couldn't take the job, right away. They wanted me to go to Europe. And I said, well, I'm going through a divorce. They knew my husband because I'm new to Chicago. I lived in New York. And so they knew my husband. And so they said, okay, you go start it when Mrs. Johnson comes back, because then I had to move out, find a place, the whole 9 yards. And so I started with the Ebony Fashion Fair, August the 13th, 1970. And I lasted 7 years. So I did the 13th annual Ebony Fashion Fair through to the 19th Ebony Fashion Fair. And there were 51 Ebony Fashion Fairs. So.
There were 51 of them?
Yes, from 1958 to 2009.
Now, are they still doing it?
No. From 1958 to 2009.
Oh, that's what
the last year was 2009.
I remember those. I never went to one of them, but I remember hearing about that Ebony Fashion Fair, and of course Ebony Magazine, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, we raised over $50 million for various charities, the United Negro College Fund, the Urban League, all the sororities and fraternities and churches, you name it, we raised money.
Wow.
And it costs a lot of money to produce that show because we traveled by a Greyhound bus. And the bus was our bus. We were the only one on that bus. And we went from, you name every city. We started out either in some little small town in Illinois, Springfield, Joliet, whatever, some little town. And we end up on the West Coast.
What year was this?
What did you say?
What year was this?
1970.
1970.
But then in 1975, they expanded the show from September through December, and then we hit it again from January through April. So we went from 85 shows a year to 140 shows a year.
Woo!
And we raised a lot of money.
Yeah.
And the audience was dressed to the nines because they were trying to keep up with Ebony Fashion Fair.
Yeah. If you go there, you know, people, I have to go shopping. Where are you going shopping? I'm going to Ebony Fashion Fair, and I must look fabulous. But when you first started,
we bought clothes from the leading designers of the world. We bought the clothes. They were not given to us. We purchased every garment.
Yeah.
From American designers to European designers, whether they were French, Italian, whether they were from London, you name it. And I got to meet all the designers, got to know they got to know, sometimes they would remember my first name. And if they didn't, they would just call me Miss Ebony.
Okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, when you first started out going, let's go back to, what was it, the 50s or so, did you experience any problems with other models, Caucasian models, being that your group was African American?
Racism. You talking about racism?
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Did you experience that?
Well, you know what, Ophelia DeVore was really something, because back in the day, there would be the Rheingold contest, and they would never have a Rheingold beer. Rheingold beer. They only had white women. Ophelia broke that down, and we blacks went in there and tried out for Rheingold contest. They had the Ballantine contest, and then those contests did so well. Then Schaefer Beer, they put on a contest just for blacks, the Beaux-Arts, Miss Beaux-Arts, by Schaefer Beer. And I was in that contest, and I went to those other contests to try out for. Ophelia also broke the barrier for the Miss New York City contest, which led up to the Miss America. And that was in 1962. And I was the first Black woman that they allowed to be in the Miss New York City contest, which then the Miss New York City would then compete to be in the Miss America contest. Ophelia would break it up, honey. We would pick it Bazaar magazine, Vogue magazine, back in the 50s and early 60s.
Well, was there a problem getting work at that time?
No, we didn't get much work, but Ophelia and John Johnson, they went after every advertiser that advertised in Vogue magazine or any magazine, Time magazine.
Went after that.
They would go out after those advertisers and say, you need to advertise in our magazine and use a Black girl.
Yes.
So Clairol, who advertised in the white magazines, would use Black models and do the same ad for Ebony magazine or Sepia or Our World. That's how that would. Ophelia broke down all those barriers.
Wow.
She was something. She was way ahead of her time.
Yes. This is really interesting, because sometimes we take for granted what we think. I'll take for granted what I think the fashion industry is and only do guesses. But when I run into someone and I like asking questions, you see what I'm doing, because I'm always want to learn. And this is all part of that learning, especially when it comes to fashion, because I'll look at the awards, and if somebody comes on, it could be music awards, say, oh, that dress is nice. Oh, look at that. Where'd you get that from? Go back home, change it. I think fashion is a part of everyone these days.
Of
So,
course it is. It's very important.
Yeah,
Very
yeah. It's when you go out shopping, and even me, when I go out, I said, no, I want this, I want that. You know what I mean? So, now the Ebony Fashion Fair, which was really big for you, you mentioned something also about the ground crew. Could you give us a little update?
Oh, indeed. Uh, when we went to Europe in the 70s,
Hmm.
they were using a lot of black models in those days.
Okay.
But we didn't always, as Ebony Magazine, we didn't always get invitations to every show, and I wanted to see all the shows. And so I would go in as a model, and I would see the confusion and chaos that was going on backstage. But this way, I could see the clothes up close, feel the fabric, take
Yeah.
photographs with my camera, etc.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized that I needed to come back to the United States. I turned 40 years old, and I left Ebony in 1977, and I started a business called the Ground Crew, and we were going to produce fashion shows. So I sent out 100 letters
Okay.
about why you need to hire the Ground Crew. I got 3 replies, and I got 1 job.
Oh,
With
well.
that 1 job,
Yeah, that could do it.
engineer, I got that 1 job. And in those days, way before it was 7th on 6th, the shows were held in the showrooms on 7th Avenue.
Okay.
And this particular showroom was 530 7th Avenue. And we did 3 shows for buyers and for editors,
Okay.
the press.
Yeah.
And I did the shows, and the ladies were, they were really excited and very happy what was going on. And so then I wrote a letter to say how fabulous we were. They put it on their stationery. They signed it for me, and I sent that letter out to everybody. And I got a couple of jobs, see?
Ah.
And then I used to send out little cards. No one wanted me to produce the shows. So I said, if you won't let me produce the shows, let me do the backstage. And so I would send the models out, dress the models, press the clothes,
Wow.
hang up the clothes, deliver everything right to wherever we were having the show. And then I guaranteed the designer that nothing would be missing, because I knew things go missing in a fashion show.
Somebody might say, oh, that dress looks cute, and have that.
No, they don't take dresses, they take accessories, because accessories you can put in a bag.
Oh, really?
Very rarely would they take a whole dress.
Oh.
But they would take shoes, gloves, earrings, necklace, rings, whatever. And I used to catch them.
Could you come here a second? I'm in that bag. Why? I'm in the
I did. It used to look. That's what I did. Donna Karen show. Donna said, "Audrey, go to the elevator and check those models." She didn't want to look bad. And see, I didn't care. I said, "Girl, if you don't give me those shoes," oh, Donna said I could have the shoe. Donna did not say you could have those shoes.
Yeah.
Just give me my shoes.
Yeah.
And I'd have somebody at the back elevator, because some of the girls got smart. They'd go to the back elevator at 557th Avenue. And so one year, some things were missing from an Oscar de la Renta show.
Oh, I tempted
perfume was missing.
Offices. I tempted at, yeah.
Not from backstage, but they had given out perfume to people, and a whole box of perfume was missing, the samples.
Oh, really?
And somebody told Oscars people that they saw a black person put it in a garbage pail, yada, yada. You see, so then they called me, and I said, oh, yes, I heard all about that, but that wasn't me. But I know the young man who did it. And I said, I was so mad. I was so loud to the PR people. I was furious that they would say that someone, because we were brown.
Yeah.
And so Oscar heard me, because I have a big mouth, I'm very loud. I must talk softer.
You're doing fine.
Oscar heard I was in there, and he said, Audrey, since I've hired the Ground Crew, I have not had a necklace, nothing missing. All of my beautiful pieces are always there. I want you to start charging me for yourself now. And so from then on, Oscar de la Renta showed me how to charge for Audrey Smaltz, not just the Ground Crew, but Audrey Smaltz and the Ground Crew.
He's very tall, right, Oscar?
Not really. I'm tall. He wasn't 6 feet tall. He wasn't.
Oh, okay.
No, he wasn't. He was tall, but 5'10" maybe. Good
5'10"?
looking.
I thought he was taller.
Fine. He's fine.
Yeah. He passed, right? He passed, right?
What?
He passed, right?
Oh yes, he's so
Yeah, some
many.
years ago. Yeah,
Bill Blass, Oscar de la
yeah,
Renta,
yeah,
Jeffrey Beam,
yeah.
Hubert
Jeffrey
Givenchy, Yves
Givenchy.
Saint Laurent, oh, Pierre
Yeah,
Cardin. He just left us, Pierre Cardin.
yeah,
I think I
yeah.
gave you a picture. There's a picture with me and Pierre Cardin, and maybe there's a picture with me and Yves Saint Laurent. I don't know. I have,
Okay, okay, yeah, yeah. So what happened after he said nothing was missing from?
and
Uh,
so then I started charging everybody for 2 hours for me, $1,500, and I got
ooh,
paid too. They paid me. Plus, they paid me for my dressers or pressers or what runners, whatever what had to be done backstage.
yeah,
We
yeah.
took, oh, I would have people who would sleep with the clothes. Sometimes we'd have clothes at beautiful, like Waldorf Astoria was a place that a lot of designers like to give fashion shows, the Waldorf.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And I'd have people who sleep with the clothes because you'd be surprised in the middle of the night, those people checking the rooms would go in the room and take something. So I have
What?
sleepers. I would charge them for sleepers.
What? They
Oh yeah,
sleep in the room where the clothes are, just to make
oh
sure.
yeah, they knew. You'd be surprised. People know everything, and so I would guarantee each designer. I guarantee you that nothing will be missing because everybody's watching.
Yeah.
That one time, not too long ago, in the
Hmm.
in the 20 in the 21st century, we did a show for Chanel.
Oh, really?
And yeah, and Karl Lagerfeld was designing for Chanel at that time.
Yeah.
And they had real jewelry. I mean, they had diamonds, emeralds, they had the real deal, not costume. And some earrings were missing.
Okay.
And the woman called me and she said, Audrey, I have 2 pairs of earrings missing. Da, 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 da.
Hmm.
So I found out, and I said, give me the name of the models, tell me the jewelry and everything. And they did. And I called the person who was dressing because we kept a record of who dressed which model.
Okay.
And then I let them have it. How did you let that model get away with that? Then I called the model agency and told the agency, if that model doesn't bring back my earring, just one earring, they didn't take 2.
One earring?
Honey, it's diamonds.
Yeah, okay. And go to the pawn shop and buy it back.
So anyway, I got those earrings back. And do you know that lady who had hired us and who had accused the ground crew of stealing the earrings? She never apologized.
No?
I got her earrings back. I didn't know they were missing, but then I let the ground crew have it. You should have known that you didn't get that earring back.
Yeah, yeah.
Then the ground crew told me there was a special woman who was supposed to go around and collect the jewelry. So we didn't have anything to do with the real jewelry. They had a special woman just giving the jewelry to the see, they didn't even really trust us with the real jewelry.
Yeah.
White folk, baby. Let me tell you, I could do a whole book on white folk.
I was just gonna say, you have a lot there, I was telling.
In fact, one show we did, that was 1987. I'll never forget that show. It was for Bergdorf Goodman,
Okay.
and the designer was French, and they asked me to come and do the fashion show for them, and I was all excited. And my friend Terry Agans called me that day to see what I was doing, what was going on. She just happened to call. I said, girl, you won't believe this, we're doing a fashion show at the financial center. She said, what? You're doing I said, yes. She said, but she called me right back. She spoke to her boss. Her boss said, oh, I want you to cover that show. So she said, Audrey, have a t-shirt ready for me, because I used to have ground crew t-shirts. And she did the show, and the ground crew in 1987 made the Wall Street Journal.
Wow.
My
That's
little
big.
company. I mean, maybe we were making 200,000-300,000 a year. Maybe. I don't know whether we were making that much then.
Yeah.
And we made the Wall Street Journal. Well, that we were famous now. Well, the girl from Bergdorf Goodman, she got mad. How dare I have Terry Agans in the Wall Street Journal? And I said, well, you didn't invite her to the fashion show.
Yeah.
She wanted to be at the show. I told her, so she was a ground crewer.
Yeah.
But here's the point. New York Magazine, I still have it to this day. In fact, I'm working on my memoirs now.
Okay.
I saw that magazine, and you know what they said? It was dark backstage.
It was
because
dark?
I had 20, 30 ground crewers and maybe one white, or maybe 2 white.
Yeah.
And then they had a lot of black models. So the person in the back said, whoever was writing for the New York, I could look that up because I still have the magazine. They said it was dark or it was black backstage.
Oh,
Mhm.
wow.
Oh, they know they
Wow,
something.
this is wow. I can see your memoirs now,
Yeah,
but I'm coming for you to do
and then a lot of people, they said I charge too much money. And one
Mhm.
man told me, "Oh, but you charge too much money." I said, "But you signed the contract. Now
Yes,
you telling me I want my money." He said, "Well, can I pay you in a gown or outfit?" "No, I don't want one of your outfits. I want my
my
money."
money. Yeah,
And so
yeah.
he said, "Well, I have to write it on. I don't care what kind of check you write it on, just as long as it doesn't bounce, I get my money." But then there was another woman. I'm not going to name
No, no.
this firm. This firm was a biggie. And the lady wanted us, clothes were coming in from China or Japan, wherever they were coming in. We had to take all the clothes out of the boxes, hang them up, put them on the
Mhm,
racks, steam and press every garment. There were 10 racks.
mhm.
And I charged $50 an hour plus a 20% service charge. Well, when
Ooh.
she got the bill, it was maybe $5,000, $6,000. I don't remember what it was. So she didn't want to pay me. So when I went over to her office at 1411 B Way, and she said, "Well, you know, you charge too much money." And I said, "Miss, that is not, you signed the contract." Maybe she didn't sign the contract. She was the owner. Whoever signed the contract. I said, "The contract is signed." "Well, I'm not going to pay you all that money." I said, "Listen, downstairs in the lobby, there's a young man who needs a fix right now. And I'm going to send him up here to you." You know, she gave me my check. There was no man in the lobby.
I understand. But Audrey, before we go, I mean, this is really good. You see me, I'm just like looking in the camera, looking at you because this is really this is the gospel. But before we go, we have a couple of minutes left.
Okay.
Is there anything that you would like to leave us with, but temporarily, until I catch you again, so I can
Words
do
of wisdom.
a full hour on you, and also on.
Words of wisdom. I would tell young people
Mhm.
to be nice. Don't have an attitude. You know, so many people have attitudes.
Yeah.
I've always been nice to people. I try to remember their names, shake their hands,
Yes.
look them in their eye,
Yes.
give them a compliment. You don't, you
Yes.
know, I love
Mhm.
your hair. Did you change your hair?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that, oh, that perfume you're wearing? Say
Yeah.
something nice. Be nice. Be generous.
Yeah.
Be courteous.
Uh-huh. And I think that's why it worked that you're here today, because I would see you at
Personality.
Curvin's house, and I would always didn't know you're kind of shy, but I would say,
You
"Oh,
were shy.
hi." Yeah,
No.
I wasn't, but
Well, you know, one time somebody asked me, "Well, Audrey, how do you get over?" And I said, "Cause I've got personality.
personality,
Walk a personality, talk a
talk.
personality, smile a person." I said, "My personality gets over." People say you got too much personality. One
Yeah.
time, one time my boss, I'm not gonna tell you which boss, my boss told me that I was full of shh. And I said, "You got that right." I know it. That's how I get over, honey. She thought I was gonna say so, honey. I said, "You got that right." And I
Yeah.
get over.
Audrey, this is fantastic. Oh my goodness. Now, when I see you and Gail again, I have something that I can branch off and talk about. Oh, da, 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 I didn't know this. And da, 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 da. Yes. Oh, I really appreciate you taking the time. Is there, we got a couple of minutes left. Is there anything, you want to add on to that? Or are you
Well,
good
you
where
know,
you are?
if you think you can do something, you should do it. You know,
Yes.
take a risk.
Yes.
I mean, I took a risk going into business. I had $60,000 I saved while I was with the Ebony Fashion Fair. I lived on my expense account,
Mm-hmm.
saved my money. You must save your money, put it in
Mm-hmm.
stocks and bonds, put it in,
Mm-hmm.
just save your money. And so that you have something to start with. If you have an idea,
Mm-hmm.
take a chance.
That's it. That's what I'm doing.
Take a chance. Just
I
try
am
it.
taking a chance.
If you don't
Like
if
Gail
you
said,
don't
with the
try it,
visors on. With the visors on, I don't look left or right. I look straight ahead.
and
Yeah.
you have to be a salesperson. You have to sell yourself,
Oh yes.
sell your company,
Yes.
sell whatever it is that you're selling. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
soon or later, someone is going to say yes. You're going to get a lot of no's.
Oh, yes.
John Johnson used to say, you get 9 no's, but that 10th no is a yes.
Yes. That's
And I'm
it.
waiting for that yes.
Well, thank you so much.
Always wait for that yes.
Yes, yes.
I want to use the ground
yes.
crew.
Look, that's true, because I was waiting for the yes from you and from Gail, and I got the yes.
That's it. Wait for that yes.
Yeah.
yes.
Yes. Well, thank you
Because
so
it's easy
much.
for people to say no and give you an
No.
excuse.
Yeah.
No, don't
Yeah.
take no.
No.
Move on to the next one. The
That's
next
it.
one is
Life
gonna
goes
say
on,
yes.
I say. Well, once again, thank you so much, Audrey.
Thank you.
I guess I will be seeing you at Curvin Blues next party or something like that. But I will be in touch regarding this and a couple of other things that's coming up. Thank you,
Thank
so,
you
much.
so much.
Love you both.
Renee, thank you.
The same here. Mwah.
Mwah.
We were 5 in the family. As I told you, I had 2 older brothers.
I was born in Harlem, so I'm a native Harlem person. I like to tell everybody that I was born, bred, toasted, buttered, jellied, jammed, and honeyed in Harlem. I was a model, and I modeled from 15 until I was about 26. I was a fashion commentator for Ebony magazine, a fashion editor for Vogue magazine. And now I live on 55th Street, just off Fifth Avenue, and Donald Trump moved in my neighborhood. I work out of my home suite office. It's my small business called The Ground Crew, and we do fashion shows, fashion shoots, and fashion videos. And I've been in business for 35 years, dressing those models and getting them out there, ready to rock and roll down that runway.
Wasn't that good? I told you. This lady is sensational. She is an icon. I love me some Audrey. I love me some Gail. Both of them together, they're such a team. They've been together for years and years. And they're the Devotion Project. I'm going to show you that whole story in another episode. That's when Gail and Audrey come together and tell their story. And I know that you're going to love it. It's really, really good. It's really touching. It shows you how it is when 2 people really, really love themselves and love each other. And that's most important. Okay, in the meantime, curry. Ooh. Oh, it smells so good. Let me put this over here. Now I want to add some onion. I didn't dice the onion. I just took it in pieces like this, okay? It will eventually cook down. Yes, this is going to be great. Thank you, Angela. Angela from next door. She is so nice. Really, really a nice person. She'll call me up and, Renee, what are you doing? And da 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 da. I said, I'm here. She says, oh, I'm getting ready to cook. Now, along with this, in which I really have to learn again how to make, and that's that, the roti. I know you're probably saying, is he gonna have roti with that? Oh, they were teaching me how to make roti, and let me tell you, that was a job and a half. Oh my goodness. Now to this, I want to add some water. Oh, right here. Just add a little water, not a lot, because you know what happens. While this was cooking, the temperature was high and the water has dropped. So you make sure that the water is hot water. You can boil it if you can, and which I forgot. Of course, you know I'm always forgetting something, but it's all fun. I enjoy. Oh my goodness! Now I'm going to add a little salt. Watch your salt intake. Remember, I always say that. That's what I do. A little pepper. Now, let's do that. And some garlic. Now, when I made this dish the week before last, what did I forget? The garlic. When I made the dish and I took it next door, and I said, Angela, I made it. And she says, oh. She said, you did? Did you put everything? I said, yeah. She said, you put this and that, and you put the garlic. And I went, oh, I forgot garlic. The other thing I made, the mistake is, and I'll admit, everything isn't perfect. I overcooked the chicken. So there's a word that they use, and I think it's called mash up. Everything was mashed up. Okay. But hey, you learn. You live and you learn. Nobody is perfect. Oh, I got my garlic in here now. Let me add a little bit more. There we go. Now, the last step, let me cover this. Turn this up a little bit more. Now, the last step with this is potato, okay? Let's take a look. Woo! Look at that. Oh, wow. Oh, yes. Oh, boy. This is going to be so good. Get those onions in there because they're going to start to break down. Let's keep the cover on there because when you're cooking and the cover on, it causes more heat. Okay. I'm making a mess, as you can see. So now I want my potato. I think that size. Yeah, that size will work. Last time I did this, the potatoes were too small. And what happened? They were a mess in the pot. But like I said, we have to try. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about, Willis. Oh, you know where I get that phrase from, right? Willis. What are you talking about, Willis? Okay, here we go. Oh, boy. All right. So I believe I have everything in here that I need. Let's put the cover. I forgot. The jalapeno. I'm just gonna mince this up. And for me, I like the heat. So I'm going to leave the seeds. Yeah, boy. Probably gonna say, hey, you are crazy. You're gonna leave the seeds in there? Yes, I is. I'm not putting it all in. All of this cut up. Okay, let's do this. Let's sprinkle this all around in here. Let's do this. Oops. Now, Angela, again, she was really good at teaching me this. Let's clean this up. Have you ever noticed that you cook you're cooking with potatoes and you might make it in a soup, for example, and the potatoes break down and the food is still cooking? Well, she told me, and I mentioned this to my cooking buddy, Deborah Thomas. She also graduated from Hudson County Community College of Culinary Arts, and I like saying the name because we're proud. I was telling her also, when you're cooking something like this and you have the potatoes, when you can put the knife in the potato, or just before that, take it out of the pot and put it on the side. Let the food finish cook. When the food is just about done, take the potatoes and put them back into the pot. And what you're going to notice that when you eat, that you're going to have nice chunks of potatoes. Once again, when I made it last week, and I'll admit it, I didn't do that. Potatoes were too small, and it was a mashup, if that's what they call it. Okay, let me have a sip. So good. Okay, when I come back, I will have already made the jasmine rice. You'll see it on top of the dish, and we'll be ready to throw down and eat some curry chicken tonight. Remember, it's regular curry, not regular, from the Jamaican store, Marcella, and the turmeric. I put a little garlic in it, salt, pepper. Be careful with your salt intake. I put the onion and that garlic. I think maybe I could have put a little bit more garlic because it doesn't hurt anybody, especially if you like it. And that garlic in there, and let it cook down. Let it take its time. Don't rush it. And then when you finish, you can make your rice, and just take this, put it on top, and you are going to be hollering. Your neighbor's going to say, "Who cooking that curry?" Say, "I'm cooking it, Mom." "Let me have some, Mom. There's nothing left." "What are you talking about? I know you holding it in there. I'm smelling it all the way downstairs on the first floor. Somebody up there cooking. I know who it is. That's that Rene cooking that curry chicken today." Wow. Let me leave that. I'm just so excited. It really smells good in here, and it's going to be like this for a couple of days. Okay, well, I want to thank you all for coming to the show again. Remember now, every other Sunday, we have Facebook Sunday Brunch Live. It's every other Sunday that we have this. If you look at the flyer that comes out, you'll see who is the guest chef, or someone like yourself. You don't have to be a chef. You can be just the average person. Just come on and you can talk about food and all these wonderful, wonderful things. And the show, we're getting ready to do our third one, and it's picking up slowly, but it is. I know that it's COVID and people are trying to get out in the streets and have fun, and I don't blame you. So of course it's gonna be a little slow, but you can also watch the show if you have friends who do not have Facebook or do not have Instagram and all that. If they want to see the show, all they have to do is go to chefrenehewitt.com, and on the top of the page there's going to be a link. You press the link, that's going to take you to the Zoom, and then you can watch the show live that day. Okay, if you miss it that day, a copy of the show will be put up on my website, so you'll be able to see it, including all the shows from In the Kitchen with me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All right. So that's it for now. Oops. I want to thank you all once again for support. And in the meantime, please get your COVID shot. I had mine. I'm getting my next one on Sunday. And stay safe. Until next time. Bye-bye. As cool temperatures are upon us, the first thing I think of is soup season and one-pot meal. R.L. Schreiber products are the perfect way to start your home-style recipes this season. With such a wide selection of concentrated stocks, chili peppers, and flavor-based products, let R.L. Schreiber be the beginning of your end result.